Blog Talk Radio.
God, you are great and you are worthy to be praised. We will praise you all our days. We are your students. Teach us your ways, word by word, page by page. In the Hebrew we say, Elohim, אתה גדול ואתה ראוי לשבחים. אנו נשבח אותך כל ימינו. אנחנו התלמידים שלך, ללמד אותנו את האמת שלך, מילה אחר מילה, דף אחר דף.
It's Talk One's Talk. Talmadim. I just wanna get the knowledge. Wonder how they got it. I see a different message in the pages and decided to get the understanding that the Father had prescribed them. I'm thinking that it's very concrete. Show us we will listen. Show us and we'll listen. We will listen. Perspectives that they took can't change. Context is a must. Any artist can paint, contain your vision, trust. Moving the picture around like an auction, getting bucks off your often, cause you rush from a lost sense of your customs and your ways to the most high is appalling, yeah, that's us. And here's the reason, the cause of it's the gist. Who exactly we pleasing, the Father or the race? He set apart, Talmudim wrote his word perfect, but we often want to change according to our own belief. All we gotta do is read, dig a little deep, learn a little Ibrit. Ha-ha, Lord Shabbat Abba, Eloheinu Aga. All praises to the Father for bringing our knowledge further indeed. I can't start from the beginning and read and make sure it's not preconceived, man.
Welcome to His Talk One's Talk, where our mission is and has been from the beginning to contextually read the scriptures from the understanding from the people that wrote it, letting go of preconceived notions and any doctrine that hasn't been consistent or doesn't line up. This show is without bias, with the goal to grow together as a family. The call-in number is 516-595-8238, and we are open to any questions or comments. Shalom.
All right, shalom, everybody. This brother Yidid Yah, I'll be the facilitator for today. We have the other two panelists, Yosef and Shema. Today is the finale of Season 2 of the Reset Button. So in this episode, we're going to take a look back at the season and reflect on the overall experience together as a unit, and then each individual will kind of talk about their experience in the manner of, you know, a personal walk. So we're going to discuss personal growth, any resets, accomplishments, failures, and then in addition, we're going to talk about the details concerning the next upcoming season, Season 3. So we're just going to get started with opening comments, opening statements from the panel. I'll start with myself, and then we'll move on to Brother Yosef and then Brother Shema. So today is really just a chill day, really, and just giving us the opportunity to self-reflect and then just reflect on the show in general. I like this show, because it gives us that opportunity to do just that. So I don't really have too much to say. So I'm gonna just pass the floor to Brother Yosef.
Shalom, shalom. And I just want to say all praise to the Most High for allowing us to get to another rest show, allowing us to get to another Shabbat. I'm excited to talk about this stuff. I've been excited for a couple of weeks to kind of see what we at, see what we've accomplished, and talk about some of the things that we was discussing. And there's kind of been a lot of build up just in conversation between Yeti Yab a couple times, even talking about other stuff and just certain things that's been coming out. So now it's just a chance to get it all out. And that's about it, man. I'm just glad to see these brothers make it again to another show. I'm feeling good, and I'm just ready to keep on going. That's all I got.
Shalom, everyone. I'm really excited for the upcoming season, but as we're talking about now, which today is the closing of it, so just ready to see what the panelists think of each and every one of us individually, how we managed to either accomplish what we had set out to do, goals-wise, or didn't, because this is to reflect on ourselves as well. And also from those that's listening in, excited to hear what you all have to say as well. So, it's all about growth, self-growth, and collectively growing too as a unit, and just letting the show to become greater than it already is. So that's all I have.
All right, so the order of business for today's show, we just going to do a assessment. And we're going to, again, look at goals, accomplishments as individuals and also collectively. We're going to look at Season 2 expectations that we had, if we could remember what we had set out as a expectation. And then we're going to talk about our 3 biggest takeaways from the show. And then we're going to look forward at new goals or any changes. And then we're going to talk about expectations for next season. And then we're just going to close it out. So that's a general outline of how the show going to go today. For the listeners, if you have anything you would like to say, please feel free to press 1 and chime in at any time. So without further ado, we're just going to get started. So, season assessment, we're going to look at goals. All right? So, what did we set out to do? So, as a group, the main thing we set out to do for this season was read 1st and 2nd Kings. Well, not really read it, but, analyze 1st and 2nd Kings. Because I'm sure most of us, or the majority of us, have read it before, but we didn't really analyze it. So that's what we set out to do. That was the first thing we set out to do. Do y'all have anything to speak on that?
Well, throughout it, we got to see, like you guys said, we read it before, but going off of this previous study of it, we were able to see that it was only a select few of kings, a couple, I believe. Hezekiah and Josiah. I think that was the only two that heard through David. And that was something that I'd never caught going through it myself. So that's one thing.
Okay. I would say that, we accomplished that. What I'm saying? That's one thing for sure we accomplished, reading First and Second Kings. Do y'all think that was too much, you know what I'm saying, for a season, or was it just right? Like, what's y'all thoughts on that?
I think it was pretty cool. I don't think it was too much. I think it was rushed or anything like that. That's my take. Can y'all hear me?
Can hear you now.
Hello?
Yeah,
yourself?
Yes. Yes, you could be heard. I think it was perfect. Go through First and Second Kings seems like it just flowed just that much better. So, I like the timing and how the season went, and especially going into Isaiah next. It was good to stop it where it stopped at. That's in my opinion, and I don't think it's too much at all, because the next one might seem just as long. It's probably going to be about perfect. So I believe it might have been around the same amount of chapters we're about to go through. If not, this next book, Isaiah, will be maybe a little bit more than First and Second Kings combined. So it'll be, sufficient. So I think moving forward, we could probably set a goal, depending on the book and how big the chapters are. Maybe our seasons could be, around that, because, have a rest and reset and, change stuff up is always needed. So that's in my opinion.
Cool. Again, any callers, if you want to chime in on any of these topics, just press 1. Anything that you want to add to the conversation will be appreciated. It's not just us. We do this for everybody that tune in. We do this for a collective effort. You know what I'm saying? There is 3 panelists, but we always want to hear from the viewing audience, because, ultimately, we might be biased, or we might, feel a certain way about ourselves, but constructive criticism is great. So, and also, just any positive feedback is edifying. So, yeah, we're going to move forward to another goal that we had set out to do, was to add more reset shows. So I wouldn't even say season 1, because, we didn't have that structure. So before we even started seasons and we was just going, we did a rest show on the 7th show. And then we kind of implemented more rest shows. So it was like 1 a month. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think about that? Of course, we accomplished that goal. I don't think we fell short of that. And but what do y'all think? Is that something that we keep, or is that something that we change up for this next season going into Isaiah, starting with Yosef.
Yeah, I'm gonna be biased with this one, so but and it's only because I can be, man. You know, glory of being biased. Personally, I did like every fourth show being a rest show. It gave me a time to break, and it does give more incorporation to if you wanted to catch up on your studies or do something else. You know, it's a break on the brain. The reason why I said I was gonna be biased because, hey, it's Isaiah, man. You know, we ain't got to rest at all. But I know realistically that it's unfair to everybody, and of course, every 4 shows is a good idea. So, yeah, if y'all said I don't want to do a rest show, man, brother, y'all, man, we can keep it rolling. But that's the bias in me. But y'all get it. You know, I did like the idea, and I still do like the idea, and I think it worked out pretty well. So that's all I got about that.
I think it's good to have that little rest the way that we implemented it. You know, I don't think either or is fine, but I think that was pretty cool to have that break. You know, so I'm not a.
All right. So next, we wanted to implement a new song, and thanks to Brother Shemai, you know, he provided a song for us. I liked the song. It was a nice song, in my opinion. You know, it had a nice. The beat was kind of thematic. You know what I'm saying? So I liked that and how he orchestrated that. So we did the new song. So that's my thoughts on the song. We accomplished that, Brother Shemai. I liked it. Now the question is, moving forward to this next season, we kind of discussed this, but do we change the song or do we leave it at least for one more season? So my vote is I'm kind of in the middle. You know, it's a good song to me. You know, a new song would be nice, but you know, I don't think it's necessarily required at this moment. I mean, I'm not really tired of the song, you know, but that's me. So we'll go with Yosef first, and then we'll let Shemai be last since it's really a topic about him and his work.
Oh yeah, man, I agree. The song was a great song. I like it more than the first season song, even though I had no problem with anything else with any of them. It was more upbeat, like you said. The beat was dramatic, but it was more, you know, get you moving type of deal, and that's what I liked about it. Now, as far as going forward or whatever, should we keep it? Like I say, I'm not in the middle. Okay. I'm playing the villain today, man. Scratch the sound. No. But no, for real. As far as keeping it for the whole next season, I don't know. Because, you know, you got a couple more months. Now, I don't want to get to the point where I get tired of it. Because I'm not tired of it. You know what I'm saying? But to hear it for 2 or 3 more months we're not going to change the next season until we got Isaiah. I don't know how long that's going to take, especially with the incorporation of rest shows and stuff like that. I might get tired of it by that time. It's like the radio. It'll be a good song. It's going to be great songs after you hear it for about 6 months because it might inevitably be out we didn't heard it for the first season, then the second season, you know what I'm saying? It's about 6 months. You'd be like, it's like, let me tell you, give me real. Like the first time, I was like, all right. You know, I loved it. You know what I mean? You love it when it first come on. You love it because it's fresh, and you love it. And you be like, all right, look, I got to hear something else. And I think that's my opinion, because I don't want to get tired of it at all. And since I'm not, that's why I'm kind of in the middle. So that's my opinion.
Keep the song. Next question. No, I'm just playing. I don't really. I just do what I'm told. Shema means obedient. So whatever y'all tell me to do, that's what's gonna happen. But no, I say this. I could definitely feel what Seth was talking about. I could definitely feel what the guys speaking of as well. I would say, because this is leading into what I'm going to talk about too, and I think it's going to be one of the questions that Yaya is going to have us speak on. But participate, those that are listening. Do me a favor. Do us a favor. Go on his Talk One Talk Radio Facebook page, and what we'll do, I think Yaya specializes in this because I haven't figured out, I haven't really looked into it yet. Make a poll. What y'all think? Do y'all think we should get a new song, or do you think we should not? Now, here's the catch. We need y'all to answer this question within the next couple of days, because if it's going to be for the new season, I got some work to do before next Shabbat. With that, I yield.
Okay. I set up the poll.
Well, let me say something.
We got one in the queue. Huh?
Yeah, we're going to let him in. Let me just say something real quick, man. One of these polls, man, you got 2-3 people chime in on that poll, and we're just going to go down to it. We're just going down to a split decision.
But look, that's one of the things we're about to talk about today, man.
We're going to be 2 and 2, but we going to just cast lots, you know what I'm saying? We're going to start thinking about something, because man, Paul in the top one radio.
Oh, man.
That was a good one, Shema. Woo! Oh, it's like voting for president with 2 people in the room. Well, I like the one on the left. Okay.
Man, silly.
I'm silly, but I'm telling the truth, man.
Let's let this call in. I believe it's Brother Jeff. Brother Jeff, you're live.
Shalom, everyone. Glad to be a part of the.
Shalom.
I just wanted to give a chime in. I did come on and I went back off, so I didn't hear any. Hopefully, I didn't miss this part. But no, I think me personally, I think the prayer and the song and the part that you do also yourself is also good. So I don't see an issue with it being changed. I guess the question would be, how often would it be changed? Because like you said, if it's going to be changed, if it's agreed now, then you got to get on it like Shema. You got to get on it like quick, fast, in a hurry, and come up with new songs. So it may not give you enough time. So I personally think that changing it up would be good, but just determine the frequency of the change. And then I guess the next question would be, would it also be a question of the prayer being changed up too? And I say that for a specific reason. It gives Brother Shema to continue to, utilize his gift. It also continues to give Brother Yedadiah his opportunity to speak even more so in the Hebrew language. So I don't see it as a good thing, because it's it gives everyone a chance to continue to improve and to, share your gift. So with all 3 of the panelists, I like the way how all 3 of you had a role to play in the opening. So it was recorded. So I think it'd be a question of all 3 of you, if there's going to be a change all 3 of them, and then how often. That's just my input. So I don't have to go on the poll. Give it to you.
Brother Jeff the Prophet, man.
So Brother Jeff. So Brother Jeff, so just as a listener, what would you say if we were to say that this would be like every season? That way, because I like where you're going with it, because if the expectation is there or the set structure is there, we know what to expect. So Shema wouldn't have to rush a song out. You know what I'm saying? He would know months in advance, like, okay, next season I need to have a song. So he could be working on it as we move forward. And then me, I could be working on a prayer as we moving forward. Like, I don't have to, like, oh, man, I got to come up with this week. You know, and then same thing for Brother Yosef.
Yeah, I think that's great wisdom right there. So, yeah, instead of, because I can see Shamar probably thinking in his mind, like, man, I got to come up with a song. So, keeping it the same for...
No, it ain't no pressure, y'all. No pressure. Go ahead. I'm just, I do a song right now. You know what I'm saying? While I'm on the phone, I do a song. Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. So, yeah, but I agree. I think to have it set, I wouldn't, like, not now, but, for future shows. So probably keep everything the same for the upcoming season, but have the expectation of the previous season, any other seasons, then, yeah, there'll be a change. But then if Shamar's saying he's good, then, yeah, but, it would have to be with all three of the panelists being good, and then, having it perfected, before it's so I agree with that.
Right.
Yeah. And thanks for letting me chime in. I do appreciate it, and I do listen, because, the devil's in the details.
Hey, wait. I meant to tell y'all when I saw Jeff post that. Why? Tell me this. Why? It was somebody. It's a female. She speaks Hebrew, and she said Elohim is in the details. I was like, this. It's funny how when you don't hear nothing or see something, and then once it's said, you start to see it and hear it afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah,
but I wanted to throw that in
because
there.
your ears ain't really open to nothing. You know what I'm saying? Until you actually hear or see something, and that's weird, but it's true. And I just want to respond to Jeff real quick. I agree. That was a great point and some wisdom. Like I said, prophetically speaking or something, man, all in the show. Revealing stuff. You know what I mean? Did you have a dream? All I'm saying is, me personally, I wanted to change the mission statement, you know what I mean? Because it's something that I'm growing, and as I listen to it, I'm very critical of myself, and I listened to it, I was like, okay, I want to do better next time, and I think that's going to go that's right in the alley of what you're saying as we keep going. We get a chance to practice this certain thing. As far as me, I guess this would be some sort of me practicing some sort of speech. But then also, I have not said this to the other panel members. This is why it's just live. I want to be able to do a prayer one day, or have Shema do a prayer one day. I want to, I'm pretty sure Yediyah can bust out a verse of a song. We can kind of switch up the roles also. Because the ability to be able to do so should be within all three of us, As far as the song thing, of course, that's all within talent or something like that. But, yeah, I'm not going to be singing. But, oh, yeah.
Why not, man? Get up there and sing, man. Hit a couple notes, man.
Not at all. But, I stopped singing when puberty hit. So, but I started rapping. I mean, I did, man. I did a long time ago. But, Yediyah is just talented with the music thing. I don't have equipment or whatever, stuff like that. But, me and Yediyah was talking. So in the future, coming up, you might see switching up. But I think it's a great idea to say, all right, we're going to do it every season. So it gives somebody ample time to say, all right, you're doing this season. Or somebody can step up and say, I want to do such and such. And then we run with that. But as far as I love you. I love what you said and everything, because that's what we working on. And yeah, we didn't want to pressure Shemai into something. But as far as me, I'm like, I want to change what I said for this next season. More so because when I hear it, I hear things that maybe you don't hear, and I'm like, I want to get better at that. Even Yada knows what I'm talking about. He hears it too, and it's just that's just it, progression. And that's one of the things that I see from last season. This season, it's like, okay, this is a change that I do want to implement. If y'all notice, we went from at first we went from putting in the song to usher in certain things. And we used to have the prayer before and afterwards. So the automatic recording thing, I think that's great. Cause it doesn't put nobody on the spot at the moment, and it's continual. So that's what I got to say about that. Yeah, I pass the mic.
All right, so I think it's unanimous that we got to get busy, y'all. We got to get busy. It ain't got to be something spectacular. Of course, like you said, we want to show growth. I would say too, I want to do my prayer over anyway, because like Yosef said, like the growth, like Jeff said, it gives you an opportunity to sharpen your skills and to continue to do it. So my main thing too was, I don't know if anybody has even, really thought about it, but like the prayer, actually what I wanted to see from the prayer was it to soak in people's head. So I wonder, I know we got Jeff live, did any of those words soak into your head, Jeff? Like, can you even recite some of it? The panelists, can y'all recite some of that prayer? You know what I'm saying? That was my main thing. I didn't say that beforehand, but like I was hoping that at least it soaked in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And you were able to, at least even if somebody was to say those words, you would be able to recognize them, because I don't know if anybody knows, but like the English part in the front, the Hebrew is exactly, you know what I'm saying, what I said in English first. So
Elohim, what's going on? I hear you.
So I think Shemai say he good, he ready. Yosef, he say he good, he ready. I'm ready. I can crank out another prayer. I say let's do it. For the next season. And then let's set it. Let's set it today. Huh?
So we doing it for this coming one or the next one? So I need to know, because I get on it.
It's coming one.
Okay. So I got to find the beat first. That's gonna be the first thing. So I'll make sure I send everything to both of y'all. By midweek. That's what we go.
All right, yeah. Send it to me, because what I'm gonna do is put them all together. That way, it runs through smooth. We ain't gotta push no buttons. You know what I'm saying? And mess around, push the wrong one. Because I done did it before. Press the wrong one, and the wrong thing come on. So,
man, we was jamming one time for a whole verse of ODLs, and then we went right into the other stuff. I don't know how it happened.
Well, that's because it was set. It was set as
it was just
automatic
it was
start.
pushing like, okay. You know what I'm saying? We jammed though, and then we just went into the next one. It was we wild out. We kind of improvised.
Yeah, but I know it'd be like sometimes it'd be a pause in between. It'd be a long pause. Like when I be making a YouTube video, it'd be like a long pause, and I'd be like, man, at the time when I was making them, I couldn't edit it, so it's just sitting there a long pause. But I got equipment where I can edit it, but that takes more time. you know. So I would just like to have them all put together. So once it starts, that's it. You ain't got to push nothing. So that's that. Brother Jeff, thanks for the input. I'm going to mute your mic. Whenever you want to chime in again, please do so.
Hey, real quick, Jeff was probably going to be the only one on the poll. I'm talking about the poll, the voting poll, y'all. So pause. Hello.
I think Jeff pushed one again. Hold on. Brother Jeff, you live.
Oh, yes, I did want to say that. That's I like the way you put that. So I know there's going to be an expectation now of the three panelists to come up with something in a short time. And I like how you asked, if we could recite the prayer. So, as a listener, I'll even go, take the challenge so that at the next rest show or the season finale, then I'll try to come on so that you can see that your work is not, it's not going unnoticed. So I'll see if I can actually be able to do the prayer, the song, and the mission statement as well. So that's something that I can put in. That way I'm actually growing, through each season as well, picking up a little Hebrew. Then I can actually begin to be praying in Hebrew and probably work on my vocals and then also my speaking of the mission statement.
He said work on my vocals. Oh, man.
It gives a little more participation at the when we come to the season finale, and then we can, open it up, and it's voluntarily, but that would be something that I'll be willing to try to do. So,
Yeah, man, I like that idea because that's actually gonna go into. We'll talk about it later, but that's gonna go into one of the things like
let it roll in.
Okay, I'll let it roll in. So basically next season.
Spirit.
Right. So next season, what we looking forward, that's supposed to be the second half, but I'll go ahead and do it now. But what we planned on doing, we couldn't really do it this season, but we wanted to include for next season finale to actually bring on the listeners onto the panel and have like the key people that always are on and they chime in and stuff like that, to actually bring them on and ask them direct questions and stuff like that, and just kind of let it flow like that. So that'll be a good thing, that you just said to implement as well, I think. If you volunteered for it, so, we definitely going to try it out. But I think it's a good thing, if you go recite it, and that's good. Like, for instance, we'll have you on, Brother Mercy on, because he chimes in a lot, and just basically talk about it. What I also want to do is, like, as we looking back in the season, bring up clips and be like, okay, what was going through your mind during the time that this, happened or whatever. So I just want to, grow in what we doing. I don't want to be stagnant. So always adding new things, always building on to what already has been laid, the foundation. But I like that idea, and I think we should implement that. Maybe that should be something for every season finale, not just for the next one.
That's what's up. Yeah, me personally, I love that idea, and that's why. Say, Brother Jeff, you bring him in. He gonna reveal the rest of the show. Well, if you also got to go ahead, host. You know what we about to talk about.
Did you have anything to say, Brother Shema, before we move forward?
You said I have anything to say as far as what?
Say before we move forward.
I don't know. Go ahead.
All right. So we appreciate you once again, Brother Jeff. I'm going to mute your mic. Whenever you're ready to come back, you know what to do. All right. So we talked about goals, as far as a group is concerned. Now we're going to move into individual goals and implementations that we set out to do last season finale. We're going to start off with Brother Yosef, and then I go, and then Shema can go. Matter of fact, Shema, you go after Yosef, and then I'll go last. And if y'all want to, we can kind of do a round robin. You know, you could throw one out, the next person throw one out until we all finish, or we can just throw all our stuff out at once. It just depends on what y'all want to do. So yourself, you set the tone.
I'll vote for round robin. Did you say Yosef or Yosef? I ain't hear. I'm trying to catch that. Anyway, I'm bad, man. I'm sorry. All right.
You play too.
So, come on, man. We live. Anyway, well, as far as goals, now this is part of goals that I said I wanted to do that I have not accomplished.
Well, when you said you just so you just throw out something that you said you was gonna do or whatever, or implement, and then after that you can say whether you accomplish that or not, and then when the next person go, you know, they'll speak on what you said, and then they'll move there.
You know what, the Bluetooth had cut out in the middle of in the middle of what you were saying. I kind of heard you through the phone. I'm sorry to ask you this again.
Nah, it's fine. All right, so basically you just gonna throw out a goal that you had set out to do, and then you gonna say whether you felt like you accomplished it or not. Then, you know, we're going to kind of discuss it amongst, you know, everybody that want to be involved, whether we felt like you accomplished it or not.
I got you.
You know, yeah. And then we'll
just go like that. All right. So one of the biggest goals that I said I was going to accomplish was I said I was going to read out of the interlinear, and I'm going to go straight from the Hebrew, and I was going to leave the ISR alone. I did not feel like I accomplished that goal because I read out of the ISR for the majority of the season, if not all of it, except for sometimes I switch from things. So I know I didn't accomplish that goal personally, and I'll give my excuse. I was going to say reason, but no, it's an excuse to me at this point. When reading out of the interlinear, sometimes the way it's constructed in my interlinear, it reads a lot differently. So if I was to read out of it, like I read the ISR chapters, I would fumble at some words, and that's what I didn't want to do. Because when I was an individual alone and I was reading it, I was like, oh, no, I got to put this before this, you know. I would have to make sure that I remember that with every chapter or every verse that I had highlighted, and I wanted it to run more smoothly. So that's an old goal. So I guess I'm going to leave it there because I'm not going into am I kind of going into what I would do with that goal to maybe improve it, if I'm going to drop it or not? Do I kind of roll with that too?
Yeah. So,
okay.
You know, just talk about it openly,
okay,
you know.
Sorry. So for improvement, one thing that was talked about, about what he does is he writes it down so he don't have to go look at the actual chapter. And I think that would be a good idea for me to write out what I want to say or the verse that I want to look at. So, yeah, I might be able to look at it, or I could look at it, but I don't need to look at it. And the way I did it was it's a necessity. So if my phone went out or if my Bible wasn't with me or whatever, I'm done because I don't know where my highlighted points was at. And I don't know off top what the verses say. I'm going to try, you know what I'm saying? That'll be a way to circumvent me having to read directly from the ISR, something that I didn't want to do going into the next season anyway. So for me, it's still a goal, something not accomplished. And I see why, and the reason why, I'll go back to that, is what I've seen even through the 3 different versions we was reading out of. ISR has its flaws, just like any other translation. We've had flaws, but we've had shows where we're like, okay, mine say this, mine say this, and mine say that, and now we got to go find out what it actually said. And that's what I was trying to prevent coming into the next season. One thing that makes it also hard, which this all adds onto it, is the understanding of Hebrew and trying to look at the actual word, for word. That's not an easy task at all times. And it takes you a lot longer. So I would have to devote more time, which that's not a problem. I just would have to devote more time to actually to break down certain words. And I'm just going to do it like that. That's basically what I self-analyzed as far as that goal that I didn't achieve. And that's it for that one.
All right, I guess I'll go next. I don't really have nothing to add to what you said about that, personal goal that you had. I guess I'll just wait and see what you do next season. I don't know if any other, we got Brother Mercy in the queue. Brother Mercy, we're going to let you in. But I'm going to let Shemaiah speak if he has anything to say towards what our beloved brother has said as far as his personal goal of, reading from whatever translation or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. I agree with what he said about himself. I don't have anything to add or take away from what he said, but I do want to add to something, a goal that he has set for himself, and that was to, I don't know if it was before this show or if it was during this show, so I just want to make sure I say that before I say what I want to say. One of the goals I remember or recall him saying was getting a little deeper into the Hebrew, right? And I want to say I'm proud of him. I don't know if that was a goal before the show, but if it was or if it wasn't, I do recall him mentioning it on the show, and he's actually improving, a lot. And then, the parsing too, the understanding of the Benjamin men, or whatever have you said, he's showing that effort. So I just want to commend the brother on his growth in the Hebrew language and grammar. That's all I got.
Okay. Matter of fact, what I would like to do, I think we all had goals towards our reading of the scripture or whatever, as far as versions go and stuff. So if we could all just go ahead and get that out the way and then let Mercy in so he could speak on everybody, that would be great. So me personally, my goal, what I set out to do, I said I was going to switch from the ISR and read the KJV. I feel like, well, I know for a fact I read from the KJV many instances, but at the same time, I still analyzed the text, which I said I would do, because if there was any errors, I wanted to point them out. And I think that was successful in a few instances. One of them being where it brought a little bit of confusion between the three of us, because all of our versions said the same, but Brother Mercy had pointed out that in the Young's literal translation, it was right. So, but going into this next season in the Young's literal translation, I read some stuff that was off, like I'm talking about tense-wise. You know, it rendered it in past tense, and is actually not past tense. So, it's like the brother said, each version has its flaws. You know, you just got to be able to catch them. You know, and unfortunately, not everybody can analyze Hebrew text. So, I would say it's a blessing for us to be granted the wisdom to be able to do so and to be growing in it. So, you know, praise the Most High for that. And I'm glad that we could be of assistance to others, because, you know, being very unbiased, like, I feel like we've never tried to force any particular version, and if there was errors in the version, like, and we start running across them, we let people know. You know, it's never like we're trying to protect any version, whether it's the KJV. I know a lot of people try to say specific versions are the Word of God, you know what I'm saying? And, I mean, it's reality over religion. You know, if that's your religious belief that the KJV is the Word of God, I'm going to tell you that's not realistic. That's not reality, because the KJV has many errors in it. You know, that's the real. You know, that's just keeping it 100 with you. You know, so your religion is not reality if that's what you believe, that the KJV is unflawed. So I just want to say that. Am I going to continue to read from the KJV? I don't know. I'm going to let y'all speak on that, what y'all think I should do, and keep pointing out mistakes or whatever. Not to just destroy the KJV. That's not my goal. What I'm trying to do is just, I know that's what everybody deals with for the most part, and that's what they familiar with. And so I just kind of read from that, and then if I see mistakes, I try to point them out. But like I said, there's mistakes in other ones too. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll get back to that depending on what people say. I would love to hear from the callers. What do y'all think? What should I do for this next season? That's all I got, Shabbat. It's all yours.
As far as what did we set out for the reading, you said, right? Is that the question?
Uh-huh.
I don't even remember what I set out to do, to be honest with you.
When I went back and listened, you didn't really say, like, that you were going to do this or whatever. You just kind of spoke on what we were saying. You said that was, I think that would be good or whatever like that. So, but we do know that you was reading from the stone. You had transitioned to the stone Tanakh. So if you got anything you want to say about that, I know me and yourself would say something about it, but you know what I'm saying, the floor is yours.
I mean, the only thing I got to say to add is, I agree with both of y'all. to be honest with you, the most safe text there is, if you want to call it text, is the original script. I think we had mentioned that when you look at, it's hundreds of versions of the English version, right? That's why we got so much confusion. But it's only one version of the, if I'm not mistaken, it's one version of the Hebrew text. Like, that's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to figure out to say this right. So if you have English, you got Hebrew and you got English, right? So in English, it's multiple versions. But in Hebrew, it's only one. So the best, from my understanding, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. So the best, always the best way to go about it is to go back to that. And it's kind of hard, and that's why I'm glad, like you said, I think we're blessed that the Most High has moved us and transitioned us, all three of us, actually. And actually in unity right now, though, now that I think about Achad, because now our brother Yosef is parsing too. At first, me and Yediah started with the parser. And I don't even think that Yosef was interested. I'm not sure. He could correct me if I'm wrong. He's about to speak after me. But all of a sudden, now Most High moved him to do it. And not even just that. The man moving at light speeds ahead. Y'all should have heard him last night in our group. You know, he going in with the parser. And the point of that, the point in that, me saying that is, that's one of the ways, other than context, of course, to help break down the original text and to get the proper, like he said, the tense, past, present, future, what state of what the verb can be in, you know, meaning can it, you know, is it passive, is it causative, is it things like that. That's terms y'all don't know, but that is what gives you the understanding of what the actual sentence is saying, or the word within the sentence. So the best way, people argue and say, oh, no, you need the Spirit. The Spirit to help you. Look here, man. I believe fully in the Spirit, okay? But I also believe in the Most High preparing us to understand from a grammar standpoint in these texts. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that say they got the Spirit, but then they have, but they got the translation wrong, or they got the tense wrong. Something so simple they could say He will be called, but it can be actually future tense or present tense. But they got the Spirit. So I say, last thing I'm saying is, I think that we are blessed to be moved in this direction, and I believe that this is a good start for all of us. So with that, I yield.
I appreciate that feedback. I'm going to let Brother Mercy in. He's been waiting. And if y'all got anything to say after Brother Mercy, then just let me know. All right, Brother Mercy, you live.
Yeah, brothers, happy Sabbath, first of all. And I wanted to say, I don't want to sound too negative, but I have to help you understand that I think it's lazy scholarship to just critique translations, because to me, it's like you have to get the tool. The tool. All we're doing is reading what somebody else is writing about what somebody else wrote. That's a version. You got to understand? So to say there's errors in it, I think is wrong, because you got to understand it can't be perfect, because they're trying their best to tell you what somebody else is saying. Anytime you trying to say what somebody else is saying and you not the author, you always going to have not the whole story, so to speak. It's almost like going to court. When you go to court, they don't want to hear from the person who heard from somebody. You got to be the actual eyewitness for your testimony to count. What is Brother Mercy saying? The English translation and the version don't count, number one. So there's no errors. It just don't count. It don't count. It's not an eyewitness. Torah teaches that. You have to be an eyewitness in order for your testimony to count. These people are writing what they think somebody else is saying. So to me, I think they're doing their best. So I look at it like, so that's why I read a whole different amount of translations and versions. You want to know why? Because I know I try to put them all together and make up a story. That's really what I try to do. and come to close to the truth. But if you really want to know and what y'all trying to get to is the bone truth, and the only way you're gonna get that is to have the original, which is the Hebrew. That's the only way you're gonna get to the real bone truth is the Hebrew. Everything else is just a portion, a piece of a puzzle. That's all it is. It's just a piece of the puzzle. So because we don't speak Hebrew, because our language has been stripped from us, and see, this is part of our history we don't talk about, because our language has been stripped from us, and because our culture has been stripped from us, we was made slaves, that's why we don't speak Hebrew. And like I'm speaking to you guys right now, you don't need a version. Like when I tell you what I say, what Brother Murray says, Shema don't have to tell you what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing. Brother Mercy's telling you what's going on, and then Shema comes by and comes after Brother Mercy and say, well, this is what Brother Mercy meant. Shema can't tell you what I meant by what I said. It's impossible. Only I can tell you what I meant by what I said. And only Shema can tell you what he meant by what he said. Can't nobody tell you the whole story of the original. So I think, really, if you really want to know it, you got to make your own interpretations, or interpretive tools. And what I mean by that, you're going to have to get into interpreting Hebrew without reading a book. In other words, we're all reading books to tell us what this Hebrew word means, but we really don't know what it means unless we're reading that book. And I'm going to tell you I'm going to show you why that's important. Because when I was in grade school, they told me Buenos Dias meant good morning. And it does not mean that. I didn't learn that until I talked to a Spanish-speaking person and realized Buenos Dias does not mean good morning. But to me, that's what my teacher taught me. But to a Spanish-speaking person, I sound foolish. Because they're like, you reading a book. You know, so the lady told me she speaks Spanish. She's from a Spanish-speaking country. She said, Buenos Dias does not mean good morning. But I guess to you Americans, that's the closest thing, that's just the closest thing we could come up with to try to, what we're trying to say. I guess good morning, what that means. But she said, no, you're not telling me good morning. What you're saying makes no sense to me. That's what she told me. She said, what I'm saying makes no sense to her. It only makes sense to Americans. So I say all this to say, you got to be careful because we're using tools that other people wrote, and we got to get to the original. And once we get to the original, which is the Hebrew text, like Shema's talking about, once we're able to read the Hebrew text without going to a book, and sometimes you got to go to a Hebrew-speaking country, you're gonna have to do it. You got to practice it. And once you practice it, become better and more after. That's to Joseph's point about the translations. But to me, I don't care what translation you pick, Jedediah. I don't care. I don't care what translation you pick. It's not going to be the full picture, okay? I don't care what translation you pick. So if you're looking for that, you're not going to get that. So, but if you really want to know the full story, you're going to have to. I love what you're doing. That's why I encourage you to keep speaking your Hebrew and keep practicing with it, because I think if you keep doing that, you'll get to the truth. But that's all Brother Murray said about that. And my personal goal is this. My personal goal is to better understand my goal. My goal, like I told you, my 5-year plan is to, start a school, whatever, blase, and go to a land. Now, the interesting thing in Genesis, my favorite book, the Most High did not promise Abraham the land of Canaan until he was actually in the land. I just wanted to point that out. So that I've come to a better understanding that Most High didn't start out saying, I'm going to give you the land of Canaan. No, he promised the land after he was already there, settled in it. So what Brother Mercy got to understand is before I can obtain something, a land or piece of land, I got to set my foot on it. So that's all I wanted to say about that. I'm trying to better understand my goals so I want to set my foot on what I'm trying to obtain. But that's it. That's all I say.
Brother Mercy, I want to comment on what you were saying. Now I don't really have to comment the way I wanted to because you was going, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end, you actually said the same thing that we was saying. So I'm glad you came back around to that because what I do want to say is, like the example he said, if he say something, all we can do, and this is what I be saying to people, even outside of the show, all I can do is go off of what you said. Do I know exactly what you meant when you said it? No. But I know what you said, So the goal in what we're doing, like he say so eloquently put towards the end of his statement in regards to the translations is, I want to put this out there. We think that it's okay to go through these different translations if we're going to read an English version. We're not fixated on one. That's the point I believe Yah is really trying to put out there.
But since the KJV is the most widely used one, that's the one he chose to use, and then to kind of bring it out to show that, look, none of these translations are perfect, like Mercy said. That's his point, and he can correct me if I'm wrong when he speaks. I'm sure he wants to comment. I'm sure you did. Yosef wants to comment as well. The second thing I want to reiterate is, like Mercy put as well, and my point before he came on was the only way to get to exactly, or very much so close to exactly what they said, is to go from the Hebrew text. We don't know what they meant when they were saying it, but we can read what they said. And the way that Yedaya, myself, and Yosef now is doing, we honestly don't need any English version at all. All we need is a Hebrew text. With that, I do not lie to you all that's listening. We can literally have the Hebrew text with us, and we can parse it and break it down without the English. All we need is it's systematic ways of breaking down the Hebrew text. That's why I was talking about the parsing. That's all we need. For example, and I'm done after I say this, and this goes into what Mercy just said, like when he said that doesn't mean what that means, what the Spanish person or Hispanic was saying, right? Think of Mashlomka, right? Most people would say, or Mashlomek, if you say it in to a woman or whatever. Most people will say, how are you? Most people say it means, how are you? That's kind of like what Mercy was saying with the Spanish, right? But Yah would bring out and say the literal way is, how is your peace? That's totally different from even native speakers. When they say Mashlomech or Mashlomcha, native speakers, Mercy, here you go, native speakers will say is, how are you? But literally it means, how is your peace? And I'm not native. I say that to say this. A lot of even native people have moved and transitioned into saying certain things differently than what it originally means. So that's why I say we're so blessed in doing it the way that we're doing it. But to also go on a point that Mercy said before, I think it's a difference with being able to speak it with some native speakers, which that's a goal of ours too. But the other goal that we're doing is being able to break down the scriptures, which a lot of native speakers can't even do. Biblical Hebrew is different from modern speaking Hebrew from a standpoint of breaking it down text-wise and speaking it verbally. I just want to throw that out there for the listeners, not really at Mercy, but for the listeners. So with that, I yield. Thank you, Mercy, for that, and I yield.
If you don't mind, I want to comment off of it just a little bit, just to say something. Yeah, exactly what Shamar is saying is correct. I'm not jumping from translation to translation. That's why when I say I'm going into the interlinear, it'd be more so I can look at the original Hebrew word that is used and go from there. Am I at the perfection level where I'm just going to look at it and just ride with it? No, but like we was having a conversation a couple of days ago, me and these other brothers, along with some other people in a group text. Like I said, the technicality of, like you say, Buenos Dias. We broke down the word manishma, and what it's actually saying, and it's like slang, technically, but they say it. But if you use it in a technical manner, like good day, you would say, oh, that don't make sense. It's not good morning, blah, 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 blah. So, yes, we understand. We understand that. And, yes, I understand where you're going and where you're coming from as far as going back to the land and stuff like that. This is something that is a big goal between us. We always talk about this. Yeah, going back to the land one day and being able to speak to the native speakers and stuff like that. I've had conversations with people that do speak in native. I haven't had a conversation with them in Hebrew, but it is a goal, okay? And, yes, it's not – okay, I'm going to go back to the original statement you said. This is what I got to go back to. I have to remember. All right. It's not about critiquing the people that have wrote it. All right, we had a big thing on the show, and this is probably my last straw about messing with these translations. In the book, it said, who was it? He went to him. I can't remember the prophet now. Yep, came to him and said, yep, you're not going to recover. He said, basically, you will recover, but then you're going to die, or something along that line. That's what it said in the translation.
All three versions.
All three versions, right. So now me, Yediah, and Shamar is like, wait a minute. Now, the way I read it and said, hold on, he just lied to this man. He said he's going to recover, but he never recovered. He died. In actuality, when you go back to the Hebrew, it's a lo in there, which means not or no. He told that man he will not recover in actuality.
Right.
So something that simple throws the whole understanding off. And how much more if the not is not translated. We don't know why they decided not to put that in translation, but it made way more sense because he didn't recover. He died. It didn't make sense to say, tell him. Basically, what it implied was that he told him that he would recover and then turned around and said, but he's finna die. And when the man goes back there to go talk to him, dude never recovered. He killed him. Okay? So if he was to tell him, that, hey, look, he's not going to recover. In fact, you're going to kill him. That was what was being said. Well, he didn't say. He was like, well, in fact, you're going to take over and you're going to do all these bad things to Israel, this, that, the other. I mean, I'm pretty sure you was on the show. You're on every show. So you remember that was a big discussion. So, yeah, that's what was kind of one of my last straws on ISR, and I think that was the show for sure where I was like, oh, no. I'm reading this thing, and I'm getting whatever somebody told me that it says. And I'm done with getting what somebody tells me it says. Because what doesn't change, I haven't seen change, and when people, like, I've seen people use different tools to say what the Hebrew word was, I haven't seen a difference in the Hebrew word used in the sentence. Because I use a different tool than Yediah or Shema or some of these other brothers. They're using different tools, and we're looking at it, and it's saying the same thing, and it's showing the same thing. Now, what they tell you it says is a totally different story. But you have to know what the word is, which can be, we're in an informational age, which is great because we can look up anything. But you know what the word is, you know what tense is used in, and what form is used in. And once you figure that out, everything else is constructed that way. It's a job. I'll just say that. But that's where we're at. It's not about translations, and I want to make sure it's about that. It's not about critiquing every translation because I'm not trying to critique them. I wish I could read. Maybe I don't, because then I probably wouldn't be trying to read Hebrew. But we all wish it was one that was correct. I think that's how we got to where we're at now, because that's how I moved from the KJV to the ISR. Then from the ISR, I got stones in my house also. But what I'll probably use the stones for, and see if it's correct, is looking at the Hebrew side of it to read that, because even the stones didn't have the not or you won't recover. It had its own real rendering. So what ended up happening is this show isn't about agenda. We all know that. So none of us have, we've all changed different ways. That's the freedom of a free mind. I can change what I thought yesterday and not have a problem with it. Okay? So I could I like this and then not like it tomorrow. That's the freedom. It's whatever, right? So when I am looking at it to find out what the Hebrew text said, I don't have an agenda. Some of these writers, they're translated, have an agenda.
An agenda.
Okay. And they want to inflict their belief on you. All right? I'm going to bring this up, but it's not to jump on anything. It is just factual. All right? It was 2 New Testaments at one point. All right? Marcion had a New Testament that nobody really talks about. He added books that he wanted to add. He took out books that he didn't want in there because him and a group of people, Tertullian and their group, they were studying the letters in the scriptures, and they came up with 2 different. This dude was like different from them. He said, "No, y'all wrong." They fought about it. They split up 2 New Testaments out. Marcion put his New Testament out first. I want to make sure. I think I'm saying it. I think I'm saying who put his New Testament out. But anyway, the one guy put his out first. All right? His was a New Testament of God will judge you, this, that, and the other. But then he took out words. He placed words in certain places. It was an agenda to have people believe what they wanted to believe. So guess what? The New Testament that everybody reads today was the next group of people. They did that to counteract Marcion, their former counterpart, his book. And they flooded the market with it because they had an agenda also. And they put in stuff that they wanted people to believe that was different from Marcion. All right? Now, one reason I bring that up is not to talk bad about the New Testament, but to say that this happens and this continues to happen when you got someone reading something and saying, nope, this is what it says, and I'm going to give you a book in a translation. It doesn't happen with all translations. I mean, I guess so far I've seen it happen with all translations I've read, but, it might be one out there, whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to read them all to look for but you have people that have agendas because they feel like they're so right. They need the world to believe it, okay? And then, yes, there's some people that say, no, it don't say this. No, it don't say that. No, and you argue over it. Why? Because you're arguing over a translation. You're really not arguing over what it really says. That's why it sounds so stupid sometimes. People is over here arguing on Facebook over translations. And you put out their translation. I've gotten to the point where I was like, whoa. Now, what the word really says is this. I literally shut a conversation down today because somebody wanted to talk about a law. Hey, this is Ordek Dean, all right? He's talking about the rounding of the head and the marring of the beard. He said, God wants you to have square beards and itchy necks. I said, well, beard could be chin. And if you look at the context, it's talking about striking or destroying. So now look at the context of the next verse saying cutting of your flesh and all this other stuff. So you got rounding of your head, destroying your chin, cutting in your flesh for the dead. You think he had something to say after that? No. Why? He looked at the KJV. He looked at another little translation. He said rounding of the beard, and talks bad about the Most High's laws. Yeah, I had something to say about that. I'm sorry I got on a little soapbox about it, but it's a little, history. But I just wanted to, elaborate why we jumped on this. And I know the exact scripture that got me to say, okay, I'm done with the ISR for now. Or not really, I wasn't truly done with it, but I was like, I got to step the game up because I was confused. And I hate being confused over the word, and we're trying to get this thing together.
All right, so this is my little spiel. I ain't going to take too much time. I think the brothers hit that well. I do appreciate what Brother Mercy said, though. But I'm glad it was cleared up that, that's not what we doing, is trying to critique anything. I'm just giving you the real deal, man. So if I got to read from some English version unless I just read Hebrew to y'all. I mean, because I can straight just start reading the Hebrew, but nobody going to know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I'm going to have to say the word, then translate it for you and say this, blah, 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 blah. And then everybody going to have a Hebrew text so they know I'm not just making up words and all that. So that's the reason that I have to choose something, and then just so we all be on the same page of understanding, if I see something, I have to point it out because I feel like being in the position that I am in by doing this show, I have to give the best that I know, and I agree with Brother Mercy. The people that translated, they did the best they could. You know what I'm saying? Some people, I don't know, I can't really say that they did. I mean, you don't know what people be doing. You know what I'm saying? Just like people over there, understanding, everybody understanding is they understanding. Some people are doing the best they can with understanding, even if it's right or wrong, so you can't jump on people. I'm not jumping on anybody because I don't know. But, like, for instance, as an example, like you have the people in Africa, got people, got an all-women congregation, tell them that they shouldn't wear panties. Then you got the dude talking about he Breast and Honey International Church, where he's sucking women's breasts because he's talking about the spirit is
That's
in the
real
breast.
enough.
Come on, bruh. You know you're doing wrong, bruh. I'm not finna sit here and say, that is blatant. I know that you. Where did you read that at? That the spirit is in the breast, and you need to be sucking it out of their breast. Come on, bruh. I mean, you making up stuff because you're a sick pervert. That's what that is. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm sitting here in the congregation seeing this man do this, and I don't say, ladies, this man just want to suck your breast. If I don't say that, I'm in the wrong. I feel like I'm in the wrong.
Hey, and he don't even let me in his church like that. Keep it real.
Right. So
and that's a real dude.
And that's my thing. If I run across something while I'm reading, because I'm also bouncing from the Hebrew just to make sure, and I see something, this should say no right here, and I don't say nothing, I think I'm in the wrong. So that's really what it is. I mean, it's not trying to destroy, like I said before, destroy somebody's work. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, like O said, it could be agenda. I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Unless I know for sure, I won't say it's an agenda. But what I can say and be true about is say, they missed a word right here. They left out no. You know what I'm saying? I think that's fair. I think that's more than fair for me to do. So, Brother Mercy got back in the queue. After this, we're going to leave this topic and move on to the next thing. Brother Mercy, you live. Brother Mercy, you live.
I want you guys to understand what I'm saying, because what you guys got right now is a translation of what I'm saying. You don't really know what I'm saying, because I'm going to say it this way. Like, for example, if I got a gospel song, this guy's singing, I'm gay. But gay meant happy 50 years ago. So for today, if he were to say that, people would say, this guy was a homosexual. And I think it's wrong to say, well, it was a mistake made, because the translator said he was saying he was happy. The translator would say, oh, this guy was saying he's happy. And then somebody today would say he said he was gay. That means he had to be a homosexual, because gay means homosexual. But that definition was added to the word, and you got to consider that too. It's like we're expecting translations to be a perfect science, and it's not. It's not a perfect science. Like that word you're reading, you're saying means no. How do you know it always meant no? I mean, that's just to say it meant no since the beginning. I don't know. Maybe they figured that out later. Maybe dictionaries get updated, and maybe through the years they got updated and said, oh, this word means no. Oh, this is what they were saying. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I think that's fair than saying these people had agendas. I think that's more fair because you got to understand these people are learning Hebrew, and a lot of these people that you're talking about that's telling you what these words mean, a lot of these people don't speak Hebrew fluently. You're going to find that out. So they're just trying to figure it out as they're going along, too. So all I'm trying to say, my point I'm trying to make is that I got the agenda piece. I got that. I'm not. I just don't think it's that simple. I think they're trying to figure it out. And I think that word that meant no, yes, it meant no, and maybe it updated, or maybe we don't have, I don't know, that dictionary or what type of site, whatever you're using. Who knows? That stuff gets updated all the time, man. Books get updated, encyclopedias get updated. You know, people figure out, oh, yeah, he really was saying he won't recover. That's really what he was saying. But you got to understand, that took some time for them to figure that out. You follow what I'm saying? That took time for them to figure it out because over time they said, oh, he was saying this, he was saying that. Oh, this is what he really was saying. You follow what I'm saying? And I'm glad you were able to figure that out. But the Young's Literal Translation in that particular instance got it right. Now, am I saying the Young's Literal Translation is going to get it right all the time? Oh, no. They got it right this time. But, maybe, you know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. All I'm saying, I think you should do, just like you asked for, answer your question, I think you should pick the translation that closely matches the Hebrew in the topic that you're discussing that week, if that makes sense. Just try to pick the one that's closely to the one, if you can do that, you know what I'm saying, because you're learning Hebrew that for that week.
That sounds crazy, Brother Mercy. I'm sorry. That sounds crazy. I know, right? I got to go through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different translations just to find the close one when I can just read it from the Hebrew and tell you what it say. And actually, if I could possibly, like he said, read the English version to you, but this thing is deeper than what you think. And who's to say it says no? The Bible says it. Okay, this is what the definition of the word is, and nobody can't tell you nothing. You look this stuff up. This is a whole language that has been established for generations and generations, just like English. Who's to say that the English word for no really means no? Come on now. That's like saying the same thing. N-O means no in English. L-O is no in Hebrew. That's just what it is. So it doesn't change the word. What happens is you had a group of people that translated the Bible that did not understand everything in it. And not saying we will, but you have to also understand that sometimes they might have missed a rule. Sometimes they might not have understood. And then here's the biggest thing. Trying to fit the English or Greek or Latin or whatever type of construct of your language into another language, the Semitic language. It doesn't work that way. Because with the Semitic language, it doesn't have the same rules or they're constructed differently. And this is why you have your translation errors, because they still using sometimes different rules. If not, the people that translated the Bible wasn't natural native Hebrew speakers. So as bad as you want to say Hebrew-speaking people of nature and natural, they wasn't. Okay, they were scholars, but they wasn't even Hebrew scholars. All right.
Amen. Amen.
And I agree with Mercy too, man. Mercy, I love the fact that he has said the gay thing. The reason I say that is because another thing that us brothers are doing, well, I know I am. I study words, etymology. So what we do, they don't use a term that they study etymology, but I know for a fact Yosef does from a standpoint of finding the original meanings of words. So you on point. I just want you to let you know that we are doing that too. We going to the original. Like if you looked up the original word nice, I don't want nobody else to call me nice ever again. The etymology of that word, it changed. Like you said, gay changed, and we changed it and made it bad when it wasn't bad then. It's a lot of, so what we do, and I'm putting this out there for the public that's listening, because, Brother Mercy is always one that talks back and forth with us, you know what I'm saying, on good notes, whatever. But, so this is not directly for him. This is for others that's listening that's not able to speak.
we make sure we do that. And he's right. He's right. You need to go to the original of these words, and that is the whole point in this whole conversation. The original word in the Hebrew text. It wasn't added. It did not change meaning. Lo always means no, and it also can mean not, depending on the context of the sentence. That is unchangeable.
Yeah,
that's what you.
It just.
Joseph,
if I could say, it's a negation term.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you put it with, it negates that. So in the example that was given, he will recover. It negated that, and it means he won't recover. So just to say on it, it's not, to me it's nothing. I mean, it's like, okay, like I'm not, like I say, I can't say they had an agenda. All I can say is they missed this word. That's really all that it's about, and it's important that we know that they missed this word. It ain't no hit on them. You know what I'm saying? I can care less whether they had an agenda or not. You know, if they had an agenda, they got to take that up with the Most High. But you know what I'm saying? If not, the fact remains that they missed that word. So, and I need to know that word was missed, because I'm gonna be running around here thinking that Elisha lied, because Yosef had me convinced, like, man, like, you know, I was trying to take up for him. Like, man, he ain't lie. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was this. And that's what we do as people. We just like the KJV. People love that KJV. They will try their best to defend that KJV when it's clearly errors in that thing. And that's all I'm saying. We got to stop that. You know what I'm saying? That's a self-reflection. You know, we have to stop trying to defend things that are clearly wrong and just call it what it is. There are errors in the KJV, point blank, period. Nothing to discuss, nothing to argue about. It's just a fact. And that's all I got.
So moving on.
All right, moving right along. We felt it at the same time.
Hey, y'all, look up the word nice, though, for real. Etymology.
I actually did, and it means stupid, weak, poor,
right, foolish,
evil.
stupid, all that stuff. I'm like, whoa. But go ahead.
Okay, yeah, you got the floor on what's the next topic, because I know we got a couple of them that you want to hit. Let's read to be hit.
I know we talked. I mean, was there any other goals that we set out?
It's my turn.
Whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is my turn again. One goal that I did set out, as far as I wanted to be a little more organized, and I didn't accomplish that goal. That's something simple. That's something that I will change going into this next season. This next season is very big for me. I consumed myself with this book for a second. I had to stop. I mean, them brothers know I was calling them every day. Look at it. And everybody got tired of me for like a whole week straight. I couldn't do nothing, but I got a whole bunch of stuff wrote down for it and all kind of stupid stuff. But I'm gonna be, more organized. And this is stuff, I'm telling you my past goals of what I did, what I tried to set out to do, and basically reiterating these goals, for the next season. I'm going to try to implement, the writing down thing, but I have to do it in a way that makes sense for me, of course. And I think that's a way of being more organized from here on out. That's another goal of mine. I don't feel like I was as organized as I wanted to be, even though it's been times where I was very well prepared. It wasn't in how I envisioned it, if that makes sense. It was like, I could do better, and that's what I'm going to do, grow in that goal. So that's my second one.
All right, me, one of the things I wanted to do is, or me personally, it was a group thing, but get more marketing going for the show. I think that was accomplished with the YouTube and everything like that. But looking forward, I just want to continue, in the marketing field, making better videos with better graphics. Start doing my own graphic design. What I mean by that is actually like setting up everything up far as like the YouTube picture and stuff like that, because it's still like the default man with the red background. I want to just get more into that. I know it's going to take a little time, but by the end of the season, I would like to at least say that I've started, and then moving into that following season after that, be good to go, sharp, ready to, always have flyers and stuff like that I created from scratch myself. And, that's one thing for me.
I guess it's on me. Well, is it saying what we didn't accomplish or what we did accomplish?
Nah, it's just what you set out to do, and then you just explain if you did it or not.
Oh, I know one of the things that I had set out to do, I don't know if anybody remember, was I wanted to have another like segment. I wanted to call it like love language, and that was going to be. First of all, I didn't hit that goal, but it was going to be talking about reality, life situations, relationships. That's what's called love language, and aligning it with the principles of the Tanakh, or the Torah. And just, hoping to accomplish for others and myself included to just get better, as a person and as a people collectively. So that was not accomplished. And I still want to do that. I got to make time to do that. So I will hope by the end of, or the next season, when we do this next season, the same thing, that I have accomplished that. Whether it's through the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, or whether it's through, because everything I do is going to be associated with Thought Ones regardless. I can always point back to it. Or whether it's on the show, having a segment, which I really would love to do on the show. So that's my goal for that. And another one was, I don't know if we said this before the show, if we said it during it, but it would be nice to, but it's probably be a future because we're still trying to wait on more interaction with the listeners to give us their input. If they wanted us to have a segment to where we might have a journey of learning Hebrew together, for those that might be interested in it and just don't have the outlet of others, pushing them. I don't know if that was before the show, if that was during the show that we had talked about that, but that was something that, wouldn't mind doing as well, but that'll probably either be later, And then also, last thing was, I think I mentioned this probably during the show, but I don't know if it was before. As far as the, the website and things like that, and I don't know if this is the time that y'all wanted me to speak on it or not. So cut me off if it's not, but if it is, I'm gonna continue. I wanted to have a website to where it was like a newspaper, so to speak, for his Taught Ones. things dealing with his taught ones, the radio, on contextual studies, on things that's going on in the world and bringing the reality of it through truth. I wanted to do that. But the problem is the support from the listeners out there that we have, and when I say problem, I'm not saying like it's like a really, really bad problem, but my motivation was not that great in it because I wasn't getting any responses. And one thing that I do want to take my own advice on, which I do, but as far as with this, I didn't. It shouldn't have to. You should be doing things for yourself. You should be wanting to do it. If you're going to do it, make sure you're doing it for yourself first and foremost, right? That's what I always say. But my only thing is, if I don't have motivation from my family, I call and consider you all my family, then I can just do some of these things with Yediya and Orech, Yosef, Orech thing, Ha-Orech name. So I lacked that motivation from the family of his taught one. So I did not continue in it. I know some of you, they saw I had the website up, and I was so excited. But my excitement went down because it's like, what? I felt like, what am I doing it for? Is it going to be looked at? If I'm putting up blogs, first and foremost, I want the family to see it. I could figure out a way to make it to where others outside of us could see it. But my first goal was for the family. And so I kind of backed up on that, But I would love to do that in the future. I just need to see more support from those that are listening. So that's all I got.
I don't know if you wanted me to speak on that or not.
If you want to, you can, but just kind of make it brief.
Make it brief, right.
Yeah.
I totally agree. That has more to do than just, I don't even want to say that with just the website and stuff like that. That goes along with this show. That goes along with the Facebook group and everything. I'm going to keep it real. I mean, none of that is free except for the groups. You know what I'm saying? The website that he put up, and it takes time out of your day. And we was talking between us three about the scriptures and stuff. We opened up a format so more people can get in because we wanted people to be a part of what we're trying to accomplish between us three, because let's keep it real. It's not open for everybody. It's like, what are we trying to gain knowledge for? But this is an open format. This is for anybody to talk, anybody to get on. You know what I mean? So that's the same thing with the page and all this other stuff. The page is dead, it seems like, and nobody posts on the page and stuff like that. It's cool, whatever. I know people's busy, but yet and still, if it gets to a point where it's just me, Yediya, and Shema, we can talk on the phone, and ain't none of this, and I ain't got to pay $1. And another thing is that, we can get a conference call and you got to pay $1, because I think with the iPhones, you can link in more people, and that could be done any day, But this thing is setting up YouTube pages, and you can go back in the archives and listen. You can't archive and just listen to our conversations. But some of our conversations was revealing so much to us that we wanted to try to bring that out, for more people. And that we already knew we had different walks of life and stuff like that. So this, motivational. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I'm going to continue to break down this word. I'm going to continue to read and learn Hebrew and stuff like that. Nobody's going to stop me from doing that, because I want to know for myself. But if the support isn't there from the people, I'm going to stop making myself available for people. That's real talk. And that's how I'm just going to go. I'm just going to stop right there, because I don't want to take up a bunch of time talking about it.
So it seemed like, you know what I'm saying, y'all kind of moving forward into the next thing. So I say we just move forward into the season 2 expectations, and we talk about where they met. So one of the things that they talking about right now, our expectation was more participation. And it seems like the brothers are saying that they didn't really see that. I don't know. I can let them speak for themselves. Can y'all confirm that statement?
Other than Mercy, other than Jeff, other than Hochma when she comes on, if it wasn't for those three, and other than us being able to look at these stats, I wouldn't even know anyone that's here. Now, what you did, Yosef just brought out, I didn't even just think about that, and I'm glad he brought it out. Those pages are dead. That's one of the reasons, and forgive me for saying this about myself, and I don't know if it's wrong or right, so y'all can let me know. I used to post on that heavily. I don't know if y'all remember. I don't post on it anymore. I want to, but I don't. Because I want to, but I don't post on it anymore because it was no interaction. Like he just said, Yosef just said, regardless of me posting on there, and I'm just being honest with y'all because y'all family. Regardless of me being on there or not, I'm still doing that same studying and stuff without being on there. I'm still gaining more and understanding and things like that without being on there. Would love to still be on there. I used to love being on that, man. But it's like if there's not going to be any participation, I love you all. We doing it because we love you all. We're not doing it for any gain or anything because we could actually be on the phone with each other. If it wasn't for Mercy, if it wasn't for Jeff, if it was not for Sister Hochma, then I probably wouldn't continue doing this because it does take time out of our days throughout the week to get prepared, and it also costs money. So we ain't getting no gain. We're actually paying for this stuff too, So with that, I yield.
All right, what I would say, I want to kind of elaborate a little bit with what he said about the stats. From the standpoint of the stats, I would say there was a growth of people listening. I seen an increase. Incline as far as the stats are concerned, not actual participation as far as people chiming in. Mercy always have been chiming in. Brother Jeff, he always chimed in when he's able to call in. Now towards the end of the season, he's been, the Most High has made a way for him to be able to attend, but there was a time where he could not attend, and that's not his fault. But I know when he can attend and he has something to say, he's going to speak up and say it. So, but that's been the same since we started. This is particularly just for this season, so I'm not going to talk about when we initially started. It was a lot of participation, and then people got scarce, and then Mercy came. The Most High provided us with Mercy. Out of nowhere, because none of us knew Mercy beforehand until he called.
He just came out of nowhere, boy.
So, but I knew Jeff personally beforehand, and so and invited him to the show, and he's been sticking with us. And so I would just say, in regards to statistics. Yes, we've had an increase, which is a blessing. So I don't want to not count that blessing because that has actually been a blessing. We've got international exposure. So we're reaching people in Dominican Republic. That was one of the new places that popped up, which I think I may know who that is. We have reached Canada, and I'm just speaking of places outside the U.S. Republic of Korea, annyeonghaseyo to those people. I speak a little Korean too. And who else? Ghana just popped up. That's in Africa. Where else did I see? Oh, we had Australia at one point. I don't think we have anybody there anymore. Maybe not. I don't know. We've had Norway. We've had Norwegian. And I want to say that may be it. But I definitely want to show my appreciation to those people who are listening outside the U.S. I thank you for tuning in. You know, even though you may not call in and participate in the discussions, but the support, at least it shows me that, you know what I'm saying, is reaching out to those people outside the U.S. And I also want to thank the people inside the U.S. that are listening that just don't call in. They just listen or go back to listen and everything like that. And my brother Yosef said one thing, and I'm going to end with this before we let Mercy in, that he said we got to be our biggest supporters. And I think from that, yes, we are our biggest supporters, I think. But at the same time, I think we could support ourselves a little bit more in what we, you know, are doing. And that comes with just a little bit more self-promotion, marketing, stuff like that, and reaching out and things like that. I know we're growing, and I know it takes time, but I believe that is a great statement. We have to be our greatest supporters, and when people see that we support ourselves, they might be a little bit more intrigued to support. So that's all I got.
I want to mention.
I just want to say one quick thing before you.
Bahrain too. I don't know if you mentioned that, so I want to throw that out there. I don't even know what that is.
I want to say just before you let Brother Mercy in, that I want everybody that hears, you know, the show from wherever y'all at to understand what His Taught Ones even represents. It doesn't represent me, Jedediah, and Shema solely. It is basically what we're saying and the statement that we're proclaiming, because it's something that's in a name, which meaning, you know, when you name or put yourself under a category, you are expected in that area, you know, or, you know, sometimes as far as like biblical names or whatever, it means something. So, you know, Sister Hawkma, Brother Jeff, and Brother Mercy, y'all are His Taught Ones also, okay? We just facilitate this thing, okay? But this is something that you are a part of. You are proclaiming that you are taught by the Most High, that you want to learn from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this show is about. And everybody that's listening understands that that's what this show always been about, wanting the Most High to teach us His way. And it's subtitled, you know, the reset button, you know. And y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I've looked at this as a group, not just me, Shema, and Yediyah. We just do, you know, we just organize this thing, you know what I'm saying? But when we thought of it, it was thought of as having a group of people fellowshipping together, and we as the group are His taught ones, the ones that was taught by the Most High, okay? That's what I do. That's it. My bad.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm glad you said that. And that's exactly what it is. I mean, we are always looking to extend out and expand the family. You know, that's how we look at it. You know, this is a family-oriented show. That's why we're very transparent. You know, we laugh, we joke. You know, it's not real uptight. You know, we allow people to be themselves, and that's what we expect. You know, be who you are. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to come in here with church clothes on. You know what I'm saying? Sitting on the phone with a suit and a tie while you listening to the show. You know, this is just open dialogue, open discussion about things. That's why, you know, Brother Mercy, he gonna say what he gonna say, and he know that we gonna say what we gonna say. And at the end of the day, we still gonna be cool. We gonna love each other. We gonna give each other support, and that's what it is. You know, we ain't gonna get off him like I hate Brother Mercy because, you know, when I talked about the KJV, he came on and had something to say. He ain't had to say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not affected. You know, it's just, you know, that's why I want him to say what's on his mind. You know, if it's on your mind, we say, if it's on your mind, get off your chest. You know, so that's what we want. You know, we don't want you sitting back hating, and leaving the show because I just can't stand hearing on the show. Come on and tell hey, man, you sound kind of arrogant, bro. And then he could self-reflect. You know, if that's what it is, that's what it is. Because I'm going to tell him if he say something out the way or something, you know. I'm going to be like, hey, my granny was on the show, man, and you talking about this and that, you know. And we're going to discuss it like men. But anyway, Brother Mercy, you live.
I want, first of all, let me make sure I say this. I love you three brothers. Let me say that first of all. I need to start out that way because I don't want to be misconstrued. I don't have these high-level discussions with anybody other than these three brothers on this show here because every other discussion I have are very low-level, watered-down discussions. So, I mean, I would be very disappointed if you brothers decided to cancel the show. I really be kind of offended because I don't get these type of discussions with you three brothers. I mean, even though we go back and forth, understand Brother Mercy don't get that. The reason I'm excited about what I'm saying because I don't get to talk about the Hebrew and all this. I don't get to talk about people I interact with. They ain't talking about no Hebrew. They ain't talking about no the letters and what it meant in this translation and that. Those type of discussions I limit to this show because them type of discussions in other arenas don't happen. In the arenas that I interact with. I just say it that way. And so I just say I want to encourage you, brothers, because you got to understand, I really believe what's going to happen is I think we all need to meet one day like we talked about one time. I think that needs to happen. I think we all just need to meet for a picnic or something, just something small. It ain't got to be suit and tie. Just something small. We can get down, sit down, and really just have a little lunch or something. And then put our plans together. I know some of y'all want to start music or whatever. I want to start. Once those things get started, I think we're going to blow up and you're going to see the participation you want to see. Because then everybody going to want to jump on the bus. I'm just telling you how it's going to happen. Because when you blow up, everybody want to be a part of it. Oh, yeah, I remember Judge Hyde. That was my man.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen, brothers. But all I'm saying is that I just want, I really want us to continue you guys continue what you're doing because I want you to keep studying what you're studying because when these people start jumping on the bus, you might end up like Moses with all the people, it was millions of people, whole lot of participation, but nobody was trying to help Moses get to the promised land. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I don't think you guys are considering. When these people jump on this bus, I mean, I think y'all think it's going to do some participation, it's going to go smoothly. A lot of times when you have millions of people join on to something, what happens a lot of times, they try to change what you guys are doing. So we got to be strong. Well, you guys need to be strong and steadfast in what you're doing. And so that way, I think the Most High preparing you guys for that because you guys are going to have a battle when the millions of people jump on board. I think you're going to have a battle because they're going to try to change the program. So all I'm saying to you is that I'm not worried about participation as much because I like it small, but Mercy likes small stuff. because Brother Mercy's been in big arenas, and now I've seen things change. Brothers one way one time, then they get in front of a bunch of people, they change. And I know everybody say, I ain't going to change, money don't change, and all this. Everybody say that. But then when they when they slow up, a lot of times the people, the masses of people changes their perspective. But I just want to say, encourage you guys, keep it up, keep doing what you're doing. Like I say, I got a 5-year plan. I plan to be, doing great. So what I'm saying, I know you brothers got a plan, and we're going to have to sit down and just come together, and we finally get this thing off the road. I might need some Hebrew teachers to teach my Hebrew classes. Who knows? That might happen in the future. So, we might need to, we might need to stay close. You follow what I'm saying? So all I'm saying to you brothers is I don't want you to cut the show, because I know the Most High brought us together, because, I just found you guys. That's how Brother Mercy does sometimes. Sometimes the best thing Brother Mercy like happen when he just screwing up or doing whatever and find something. I end up finding and screw up and trip over a gold mine or something. That's just what happens. That's all I had to say. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Man, we appreciate you, Brother Mercy. I hope I'm okay with the brothers with me jumping in. I just want to say that encouragement was needed. I'm sure we was gonna keep moving regardless, but just to hear it, that sometimes people need that. Even if you're doing something for the Most High, you're doing it out of straight pure love and no agenda behind it. You still need that encouragement. When you brought up Moses, so I'm gonna bring up Moses too. The Moses' stepfather, right? Not stepfather, I'm tweaking. Father-in-law. That was encouragement. That was advice. That was support on what he should do. He needed that. And in all actuality, after that, it transitioned into something good. So I appreciate that, and I think that I'm definitely taking heed to that, and I look forward to it. I actually do look forward to your school in 5 years, because by then, man, we should be yourself, myself, and the Yah, man. We should be good. Oh, the Hebrew, man. If we ain't, then we ain't been doing something right. With that, I'm done.
Just want to say ditto everything he said.
Well, I guess you could throw me in that boat too. Appreciate it. Like I said, those are good words of encouragement. And like I say, it's good to hear it. And we just come a long way, and we still got respect for each other. I respect everybody on here with their differences, even though we're all different. So it's a mutual respect, and we're gonna continue to push forward.
All right, we're going to go into season takeaways. I just want to let everybody know we are in the overtime portion, so if your phone hang up, you cannot call back. So you're going to have to call somebody on three-way or something that's on the line if you want to come back. But we're going to move, like I said, to the season takeaway portion of the show. Some of this stuff, we've been hitting along the way. So if I bring it up and it's repetitive, then don't really worry about it. We already hit it. We hit it. Ain't no point of going backwards. So the first thing we want to look at is growth, resets, and current mindset. Pertaining this season and this season alone, because this is the season 2 finale. So just dealing with this season, you can incorporate, going from when we first started, but it's solely supposed to be just from the things we went over this show. How did it affect your growth? Was there any resets? And what is your current mind state coming out of season 2, going into season 3? Starting with Yosef HaOrech-Din. Next is Shema Ben Yael, and then I will go last. So just summarize it. Put it all in one. It ain't no round robin. Just spill it all out.
Basically, something that I did, I guess I want to say reset. This is just basically touching back on saying about the ISR. At first, it was more so, I need to do this, and then it was like, like I said, that one particular show kind of threw me for a loop because, like Jedediah said, I thought Elijah lied to that man. I had a whole perception about that dude because of one word, and I don't want to get that perception. So I reset because at first it was just, I need to, get better and learn the Hebrew. Yeah, it got a little this, that, and the other, but it wasn't bad. And then it was like, all right, I have to, take a step back and then get deeper in and go deeper into the language to learn more. I also learned a lot more about when I read First and Second Kings before. I didn't focus on certain kings and what they did wrong, and I learned a lot as far as the sin that was continued to be committed, and Jeroboam, son of God, Manasseh. These, I never knew really about them. I didn't pay no attention to them. Actually, my whole focus before, when I was reading First and Second Kings, and a different agenda. You know what I'm saying? But now, when I ran over it just recently, it was to comb through it. So I didn't have too much of, I guess, a reset mindset thinking of something that I thought First or Second Kings portrayed, because, like I said, when I ran over it before, I was running through it real quickly, and I was saying to myself when I first read it, I read it a couple times, but I ran through them like, what do I really need to know this for? I'll never need to know this. All right, this king was this, Then it was like, hold on, y'all understand what I'm saying. I know you do, even though I might not be able to voice how I'm saying it, but now I focused more on what was being said, when before it didn't have nothing to do with no miracles. It didn't have nothing to do with no super miraculous things. You got a couple things. Me learning about not a fact. I'll take this back. Elisha. Learning everything about Elisha was eye-opening to me too. This is one of the prophets that nobody talks about. This man comes with a whole concept. His whole way of operating was different than I would ever seen, and it even stemmed to a brand that we kind of promote on Facebook now, Yah Conscience, and it's having that conscience of Yah. Like, our first mindset wants to be of the Most High. Now, when you see us post the Yah Conscience, that's something that stems from a conversation about Elisha. Okay? But I heard about Elijah. We talked about Elijah. I read about him. Get to Elisha. That man did a whole bunch of stuff I really wasn't paying attention to. That's that kind of stuff. As far as the last season, I could say that's basically where, my reset came in, the things I learned. As far as the book and the reading part of it, anything else, the things that I learned as far as outside of the reading of the book and just like trial and error of doing the season thing, that still goes back to my goals on what I want to accomplish. So I'm not going to repeat that, but that gets to be thrown in as far as my mindset. And boom, boom. So it was just about season 2, not what we expect in season 3. That's the next part, right? Because I'm about to stop right there.
So basically, it's your current mindset going into. So you kind of like talk about, this is my mindset going into season 3.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we know
All right.
where you were, and then when we get
Okay.
to the next finale, we like, okay, we see his mindset kind of change, shifted again.
Right. Okay. So my current mindset going into season 3 is still somewhat similar to my mindset about from the beginning. It's to want to know the truth beyond all means, and being able to reset anything that comes across the board that I might have believed before we came into this. Open-minded to be able to analyze my own thoughts, but I want to be able to make sure that I am accurate in my findings and thoroughly do my studies, because this is the job that I have. This is a responsibility when it comes down to it. So mindset is still the same. Let's find out the truth. And I don't know if that's ever going to change. That's an overall mindset. I guess a personal mindset is going into season 3 about Isaiah. I'm just going to say, I want to know the whole hoopla. I want to know what this big hoopla is about. By the time I get out of season 3, I want to be confident on who, what, maybe not when, and I want to maybe not when, but how the salvation is going to happen. So by the end of the thing, I want to be able to say, did you get your answer? Who is it?
Hey, man, I think your Bluetooth or something went off. We can barely hear you.
So that's that mindset.
Okay, you was in the background for a little bit, but I think we heard the gist of what you said. So, Shema, it's on you.
I was all done by the time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, look, I need you to repeat the actual question because I done forgot the question. And I actually couldn't really hear the question because I was dealing with my daughter. So go ahead.
Okay. So basically this is growth resets current mind state of Shema right now going into season 3 based on season 2. So your experience with season 2, how did it, provide you growth? How, was there any resets that you had to do? And what's your current mind state right now looking forward going into season 3?
Trying to go off the top of my head, was there any resets that I had to hit over the second season? I'm not sure off the top of my head right now because we covered so much. But as far as the growth, one of the things that, he had pointed out that stuck out more than anything in this second season was the Elisha. And I'm going to tell y'all why. The reason that stuck out more than anything because, when you get into this side of the truth, quote unquote, you deal with a lot of different people with so many different doctrines. Before, coming on the show, before meeting your dad, before meeting yourself, before coming into this understanding that we all was a part of and is a part of, it was only one thing that you knew. You only knew the Most High and you knew Jesus. Then when you came into the so-called truth, then you hear that it's only one person in the new, Jesus, and there's only one being in the old that spoke with authority without any inquiry, So I already was familiar with the Josiah, and like I brought up earlier, the Josiah Hezekiah, that was something new too. That was a growing point and understanding from my perspective of why they were compared to Dawid. That was amazing. I love that. But as far as Elisha, it was something that stuck out so great about him was the fact that he was doing what he was doing. I know towards the end he inquired. I think he prayed, I believe. I'm not sure. I can't recall it right now. But in the midst of all that we were seeing, we saw somebody doing things, we read things, him doing it in authority without inquiring. And we saw that was connected to a double portion that he had asked to receive from Elijah, right? Or Eliah. And like Yosef brought out, that is what brought up that Yah conscience. And that when we say conscience, it's spelled like conscience. So y'all know it's two different conscience. Conscience and conscience. But with the Elisha, it just showed me that type of connection. The growing point for me was to get it brought out for me to figure out a way to be closer to the Most High. It also encouraged me to be more. You could be more firm and direct, when dealing with the Most High as well. And examples from that was even going back to the first season with Moshe. We pointed this out then. I don't know if I'm going outside of what you wanted me to speak on, so stop me if I am or correct me if I'm not. If I am. But we saw that Moshe was direct in certain ways of talking to the Most High. He was reminding things that the Most High promised. He reminded of what he was doing, almost in the sense of holding the Most High accountable. So it's all of these things coming up to this point in this second season is what helped the growth. And this second part with the Elisha and with the two different kings, Hezekiah and Josiah, that helped me, for my growing point. As far as reset, I don't remember reset. I don't know if I resetted on anything. Other than that, I guess I could reset on finding out someone else was able to operate without inquiring and knowing why he was able. I want to make sure I say that for the listeners. One of the reasons I believe, and I hope maybe they could chime in on this, of him doing it was because he was sure of his position. He was sure of his position. He learned from someone, then he asked for a double portion of it, and he was just sure of what it was. This is my take. They might have something different. Mercy, anybody got something different? He was just sure of it. He was confident. It wasn't any questioning. It wasn't any second guessing. It wasn't any of that. And the only way you can be that way is if individually you are doing the things that you're supposed to be doing that the Most High wants you to do. You got to be someone that's probably heavy in prayer and on one accord with the Most High. So, and I think that's it. I don't know what do I expect with the third season. Going into the third, I'm just looking forward to really dissecting Isaiah. I'm really looking forward to that. And that's it.
All right, we got Brother Mercy in the queue. Brother Mercy, hold your thought. I know it's Shema comment, question that you probably going to speak on your take. So just hold what you got. I'm going to run through mine. That way, if you have something that you want to also speak towards what I said, then you could do so. So, need far as growth, resets, current mindset going into season 3. Just going through First and Second Kings really grew my perspective on the people of the book and how the kingdom was. First thing I really saw is that I got to see lineage, and I got to really see like a lot of the things that how civilization period is ran. I was able to look at it and do a compare and contrast and see a lot of people's mindset even back then. Like a lot of there was a lot of things that have not changed, you know, and I got to see how wicked Israel was, you know, and how wicked people in authority was as far as kingship. And I got to realize that Israel was more wicked. You know, people talk about, you know, oh, we Israel, whatever, and these heathen nations. Israel was heathens. You know what I'm saying? Based off what I read in First and Second Kings, the Most High said they was one generation was worse than the people that was in the land that they were supposed to drive out. So I don't even know what's all the fuss about. You know what I'm saying? You either right or you wrong. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? Wickedness is just wickedness, is what I was saying. And then, like, a lot of things that I believed before, far as just on my reading beforehand, like not even so much of, like, the season, but just stuff that I thought I knew for sure because I read in the text of, you know, just, I'm going to be transparent, the New Testament, so far I've seen something that may be proven to be questionable, far as, like, with the building of the house, with Shlomo, Solomon. I read in the text that there was actually, in regard to Solomon, from my understanding now. And then, so that's going to have to be analyzed when we get there. But I already got it in mind moving forward. And then, yeah, just the perspective, man, just looking, that's my biggest growth, I would say, just being able to look at things from a different perspective now and really seeing things in a reality standpoint more so. I already had that type of mindset, but I feel like it grew going through First and Second Kings. And then just going into the next season, my mindset really is looking at it from a perspective, really trying to focus on time. You know what I'm saying? And what's really being said during those things. And because of reading First and Second Kings, I see that time is not really focused on, because I don't think nobody really knew before we read First and Second Kings, and y'all could say whether y'all did or not in a short yes or no, that Isaiah, Yeshayahu, Nebuchadnezzar, and all these people were around the same time frame. I did not know that until we just went through First and Second Kings. They were closely living around the same era, So going into Isaiah, I got that in mind. So when I read it, I'm like looking at it like, you know, putting it in the right time frame. Like, because before I thought like all the books was like distant from each other, but I'm starting to realize that so far this material is covering an era. You know, I don't know how long that span of time is, but it is like one era of time. You know what I'm saying? And all these was written, they just found them and they kept them separated or whatever. They didn't like mix the stories together. Like one person wrote it from this perspective, you know, from the prophet Isaiah perspective. One wrote it from Daniel's perspective, Jeremiah or whatever. And the Kings is just that whole era. Is how I'm seeing it right now. It could change as we move forward, but that's just my mindset right now going into it. That's all I got. And before I let Brother Mercy in, can you brothers give me that yes or no? Whether y'all knew that before reading 1st, 2nd Kings?
Yeah, I was familiar with him being around the same time frame, but you know. But I think I had said in that last show when we had seen that, when either you or yourself brought it out, that, you know, I forgot what I said, man. But yeah, I was aware of it. I was aware because of the Apocrypha. Some of that's in the Apocrypha too. You get to see how they was around each other. And I know that I forgot who it was, but somebody cried when who was that died? It was mourning for them in lamentation. I know we're not there yet, but we're going to get to see it. I'll bring it out though.
All right. And the Nebuchadnezzar, you knew that too?
Oh, well, no, I don't think I knew the Nebuchadnezzar, but as far as with the Isaiah and the I forgot. Man, I'm sorry. I'm really I kind of occupied right now.
Oh, you occupied. All right.
Yeah, I got like
yourself.
3 kids around me. Sorry.
Quick yes or no, and then I'm gonna let Brother Murphy close in on 30 minutes.
I didn't know that they were that a lot of them was, you know, intermingling in, especially with the Isaiah thing and well, the Nebuchadnezzar being around that time. You know, I like you said, I thought that it was a little bit more spaced out in time. That's how. That has not been taught to me in going into the church, and also when I've seen Bible movies or whatever, they don't show them together in the Bible movies that I've seen. You know, so no.
Okay, Brother Mercy, you live once again.
Yeah, I would like to answer the question. I didn't know that, but at the same time, that's why it's important to go back and read. That's why this show is so important, Jedediah, because it's like people don't discuss these things. And I wanted to say that, you know, with Isaiah, and see, think about Isaiah, a lot of doctrines come out of the book of Isaiah, and I've heard very few people relay Isaiah's message back to Hezekiah and back to Nebuchadnezzar and how it translates in that context. I've never heard anyone make that translation in the context of Nebuchadnezzar and Hezekiah and what's going on during that time, Isaiah's words in that perspective. Because when I listened to Isaiah and what he told Hezekiah, that he was going to die, and then Hezekiah told Isaiah, well, I've lived uprightly and so forth, and I've kept Torah, he gave him an extra 15 years. So Isaiah's prophecy was not an exact prophecy, if I can say that. I know I said something very powerful there. It wasn't an exact prophecy. In other words, just because Isaiah said it don't mean it's going to happen the way he said it's going to happen. If you observe Torah you can bring a positive out of a negative situation is what I see there. So to use Isaiah's prophecies in the book of Isaiah and say, oh, it's got to happen the way Isaiah happened, if I look at it in the context of Hezekiah, I say no. Isaiah's prophecy can be modified and can be changed if you keep Torah. I wonder if that makes sense. But, yeah, but I just wanted to say that. I wanted the Christian church to understand that. So any translation or any interpretation you come from Isaiah by itself in isolation, then you may come up with a different interpretation. But if you observe Torah, you can bring about an extended time period to your life. And Hezekiah was one of the richest kings, and, I just wanted to say, I like Hezekiah because he was a rich king, and he called the Lord the good Lord, and my grandmother called him the good Lord, and Hezekiah called him the good Lord. I think he's the only one in the Bible that called the Lord the good Lord. So that's just my little thing. And I just wanted to say, what do you guys think about Isaiah's words being interpreted in the context of what was going on during that time, as Jedediah so eloquently brought out? So that's all my question is.
I appreciate that, Brother Mercy, and we're going to answer your question. I'm muting your mic. Yourself, you can take it first.
Okay. Man, that is, I'm trying to use a good analogy. That is, okay, I'll say this. That has been, and it happened at the end of Kings, that this discovery kind of came about. But it probably was one of the biggest discoveries because it's not that I forgot, but it did kind of slip my mind in talking about this until we brought it back up. That's detrimental to what we're about to go into and read. And you will see it because he's going to reference certain kings. You know what I'm saying? But since I'm telling you, when I promise you, when I read Isaiah before, I had glasses on of I already knew what it was talking about. I think when I read the whole Bible up until the point that I'm rereading it now, I've been reading it with glasses on of this is what this means, this is what this means already. So now I'm reading it with new eyes, okay? And that right there was like my mind being blown. Like, whoa, wait a minute. What he said, to Hezekiah, some of these prophecies can go back to Hezekiah because I promise you, either all I'm going to say is either Isaiah repeats himself, or when he started saying something about the Most High is one and all that other stuff, he had this big speech that we read in Kings. That big speech is Isaiah 44, I believe. Everybody quotes it. So we're going to see when it gets there later on. And I can't wait to see, and try to match it up and see if that's just a definite, elaboration of what's in Second Kings. That's me, and that's what I got.
I think the brother covered it pretty well. Just my little 2 cents on it is just, it's very well possible, Brother Mercy. At this point, we have to consider all things that we read up until this point. And what we do know at this point, if we have reset our mind completely and not think about what's said on the other side of the book with the red letters, what we have to do right now is wait till we get to that and then do an analytical study between the two. Now, what we know right now of what we have read together as brothers and sisters on this line, I ain't talking about what you read on your free time. We have read that Isaiah was around. He spoke with Hezekiah. Okay? We just got a little glimpse of him. But he had to be around before then, too, when Ahaz and them was around, too, because they knew to go to him. They said, oh, there's a man of God. So that means he had established himself as a man of God before that. So his name was known amongst the people. So his story, now we about to go into the writings of the perspective of his life and his story and his work. So now we need to analyze that with that mindset. Like, okay, we know he was around. We know he had to do more than what we just read at the end of Kings. We going into his book. Let's see. Let's look at it. And then let's determine who he was really giving a prophecy to and about. Like Brother Yosef said. Let's in all honesty, with a clear mind and a right heart, go into this thing and really be honest with ourselves and take the word for what it say. And that's what we gonna do. And that's my answer. I believe Brother Shema is occupied. If you don't have anything to add.
No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Brother Mercy's in the queue again. I'm going to let you in. Be brief, Brother Mercy. We got 20 minutes left. After you speak, we're going to go into moving forward, and we're going to talk about any goals moving forward, which we hit that a little bit already. So that shouldn't take long. And then we're going to go into expectations, which we kind of hit that too. So really, I guess what we'll do is just go into closing statements, and you can incorporate all that into the closing statements. All right, Brother Mercy, you're live.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, brothers, that, about this Isaiah thing, I really think is key because to know that he was living around the days of Hezekiah and his prophecy was made to Hezekiah and his prophecy was changed after it was laid to Hezekiah. And when Hezekiah observed Torah, he got 15 years extended. I just wanted to say that, this needs to be really kept. Hezekiah's name is mentioned in Isaiah chapter 38. So Hezekiah's name is mentioned again in Isaiah. So I guess we have to include all of this in our interpretation of what Isaiah is saying. And I think what Jedediah is saying is so important. We really got to take off the church glasses when we read these scriptures because they told us what Isaiah was saying. But if we add Hezekiah, we add Babylon to that, I think we're going to get a different message. And the red letters, you said something about the red letters. Let's not get to the red letters yet. I just wanted to say is let's first try to find out what Isaiah is saying first. And then we'll get to the red letters because the red letters might be saying the same thing Isaiah is saying. You see what I'm saying? But you see, we got to take off these church glasses.
It might. We're going to find out when we get there.
But all I want to say is a lot of times we have preconceived notions. We read the words of Christ and Yahshua. A lot of times we have preconceived ideas. And what I found with being with you guys, what I found is that I'm resetting my whole – Mercy has reset by talking to you guys. I've reset my whole way of thinking after talking to you guys.
Amen.
I'm just letting you know. My whole way of thinking has changed. I don't even look at the scriptures the same. And so I just want to say that, and I'm out.
Appreciate that, man. That's very inspiring. And what I would like to do, if y'all don't mind, you don't have to speak, but I would like to open everybody else mic, and if you could just take 5 minutes of your time and just give us a little general summary of like your experience so far. Brother Mercy just gave his. So he kind of set the standard. He set the tone. So I'm just going to go down the line and open up. You'll hear a little beep, and that'll let you know you live, but I'm going to say you live. But if your phone beep, you know it's you. I'm not going to call no names or numbers. That way nobody be like, oh, that person didn't want to speak. So it'll be between myself and you. So you are live if you want to speak. If you don't want to speak, I'll do a countdown and cut your mic off. 3, 2, 1. All right. You're live if you want to speak. 3, 2, 1. All right.
I wonder if they know you. I know you told them to hit a beat, but I wonder if they know. Maybe you should say like the first 3 digits without saying their name.
All right. So 573. You're live right now. Your mic is hot. If you would like to, speak and give a general summary on, your experience in season 2, mindset and all that stuff, like Brother Mercy said, then you speak now. All right. 3, 2, 1. 612. You're live if you want to speak. 3, 2, 1. All right. All right, that's cool. So we're going into the closing statements. Let's see. I will go, and then Shamad. Well, matter of fact, Shamad, can you go first? Then I'll go, and then yourself, can you close us out? And then close us in prayer, please.
All right. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, I'm open. Okay. Well, it's been grand. We closed this out. We closed this season out. Finished Kings. Now we're going into the most spoke about book of the prophets. So before saying that, or speaking of that, I just want to say that I hope that everyone gathered a lot of great things while we was in Kings. I just think it's amazing that, like Brother Mercy said, what he said as far as it changing the way that he views the scriptures. And I believe that's the purpose, that's the point, and what we was trying to accomplish with ourselves first and foremost, and in hope that it would do the same for others. And I'm just grateful for that. And like Yediyah said, that it was very inspiring and actually encouraging as well for us to continue to do this. I'm excited for Isaiah to come. He is one of my favorite prophets as well. And I'm excited to see what comes out of that because I have not went through Isaiah under the new way of me viewing the scriptures yet. I think I only read the first 3 chapters. That's it. I haven't went through it, and I think I'm doing that on purpose because I do want to go over it with you all. Because my greatest accomplishment of understanding the scriptures in a reading fashion or studying, I won't say studying fashion because there's so many variables with studying, but in a reading fashion like we're doing now, has been with these awesome panel members as well as the family, extended family outside of the panel. So with that, I yield. I appreciate you all. Shalom.
All right, I just want to say I think this was a good finale show. We went over everything that we planned on going over. I appreciate the participation. Brother Mercy, Brother Jeff, speaking. Your words were encouraging and inspiring and edifying. And I just want to thank y'all personally for chiming in and saying the things that y'all said. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I thank everybody that tuned in for tuning in. I want to thank these two brothers of mine on the panel with me for just doing this with me. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate it. I enjoy it every time we get on. I wouldn't change it for the world. So I wouldn't want to leave the show, you know. But as these brothers said, either way, you know, we going to commune and we're going to go over this word together because we was doing it before we had the show and we will continue to do it after the show is over. So, once again, thanks and enjoy the rest of your day. Shalom.
All right, this is Brother Yosef. And, man, I can't wait myself. I did start reading, and then I had to stop, like I say, because I rather had. I was reading for, you know, some things was going on in my life at the time. So, but I did stop so I can thoroughly go over it. With these brothers, I have constantly, I mean, as far as more recently have ran over the scriptures probably the last couple months or some months ago. So, yeah, I do have some things that I do remember, some things. But here's the good thing about that. I'm going to be looking at it also with trying to go back to the Hebrew, you know. It's not an easy task. And like I say, it's time-consuming. So I'm going to see I might have some differences from what I originally even just recently read. And I'm always going to look at it with a fine-tooth comb and with a microscope, you know, on everything. Because I just want to know the truth. I don't want to feel like I have to be right about what I used to believe. I just want to be right in the end, okay? That's all. And I want to know the true actual belief of my forefathers. That is my goal. And I don't care what nobody had told me before. Everything is under a microscope. And even whatever I believed 2-3 months ago is up under the microscope if I see something else that will go against whatever. But that's that. I know Shema was supposed to be hosting a little bit. You know, he might have been hosting, you know, he got his children like he do. But I'm going to have to put this out there. I'm hosting next week. You know, man. I had to start this one off, man. I had to pull a boss move. But I'm going to put a lot of promotion behind it because I want, like we was talking about, this is the goal is to grow as a family, and a lot of times people might see his taught ones and might feel like it represents 3 people. It doesn't. His taught ones represents everybody on this line. His taught ones even represents the ones that listen back on the show, because what you're trying to be a part of is basically saying we want to learn together and we want to know the truth. We are very intelligent beings, and we don't need necessarily to go to someone's school for them to tell us what the Bible tells us or what the Bible is saying. That's because in those schools, they're not even going back to the Hebrew to tell you the Hebrew word, and these scholars is coming out and not coming out with fluent in Hebrew either. So they missing something too. They're just passing down information that they know. So I'm going to try to put a lot of promotion behind it. I can only ask, like to say, be in this next season, be proactive with us. You know, if you see me put a post up about it, share it. You put a post up about it yourself. You want people to be a part of this family of things just as well as you are. This is not secretly. And if we do get more people to come in, because I know it's going to be controversial, we will do our best to make sure that we don't have no argumental show. Because I tell you this, Brother Mercy, we don't always agree with Brother Mercy. We don't always agree with each other. You know what I'm saying? You know, Sister Hawk will come in and say something. Usually it's because she heard somebody say something, you know. And so all in all, we want to keep order. And we don't want to take away from what we got going on if we got some new people. I'm saying this on this end of this show, and I'm taking this extra timing because I don't want anybody here or even that might listen online to get discouraged if extra people come on because it's promoted. Because it's one thing that we was talking about going into this next show is promotion of this show, you know what I'm saying, on every social media site that I have to try to get more people to come in. Because at first, you know, like I say, First and Second Kings might seem boring to people because it did to me at one point. I blew through it, I rushed through it, not knowing how much information was in there. First and Second Samuel, all of them, blew through them because not knowing how much information was in there. But, you know, when we first started in Genesis and everybody wanted to know what the light was. I mean, you know, when you get the controversial stuff, you get more people sucked into it. This is a controversial book, okay? We will facilitate and we will get a hold of things if it do seem like you get out of control. All we ask is from everybody is if, you know, a lot of people come on, you know what I mean, be patient. Y'all know us. We gonna get it, get a hold to it, and I'm pretty sure these brothers can agree. I don't want to lose anybody we got over new people coming in and bringing in chaos. All right, that's what I'm saying. I will always want to gain people, but it's not to gain people to lose the people that's been faithful. You have to understand. So if, like I say, if it is a problem, please reach out to us. Please say something, okay? If you don't like me, say it to me. Okay, I don't like what you said. Please say it to me, okay? Those are the same with Yeti and all that. I'm taking this extra time because I want to reiterate, I personally might not agree with a lot of people when it comes down to this Isaiah book. This is going to be on this show. I have to throw that out there. It's not that I don't like you, okay, and I don't want this to be a separating factor. The word should not separate us. It should bring us together. All right? And if I say something that offends you, not saying the truth, but if I say something, the way I say something offends you, bring it to me. I would apologize for offending you. And we can continue to move forward as a family. All right? Now, I didn't want to get on the soapbox. We only had so much time. But next week is the show that's going to happen. And I don't want somebody the first show, if something happens, something said, it's a lot of people on there for y'all to say, I'm done. I'm not messing with these brothers no more. Your feelings is hurt, and you don't reach out to me or them. Okay? Y'all in agreement before I pray, brothers? And anything to add about that, like what I'm saying?
I agree.
Okay. Shemam, I'm pretty sure you agree too, but you can say it if you want to. If you ain't got the ability, I will continue to push on. All right. You know, it's daddy daycare time. I understand. All right. All minds clear. Thank you, Father, for allowing us to have another rest show. Thank you, Father, for allowing us to be a part of something that's greater than ourselves. We ask that you help us to understand your word and that you continue to bless this thing that we are putting together to try to understand you. We only ask, we request that you give your spirit of wisdom and knowledge upon this show, upon the readers, and upon the listeners, so we can understand what you want us to know. We're coming before you making a petition that you teach us. This is the name that we feel like we would want to represent because it puts you on the forefront. Protect us throughout the week. Give us rest in mind, body, and spirit. Rejuvenate us. And if it be in your will, help us to be able to make it back to fellowship with you and each other next week and even throughout the week. Amen. All right, thank y'all for being a part of the show.